Good morning, New Hope. Pastor Christy here and Constance. Last time together, we talked about the image of God and how it is on all of us. This time I wanted to talk about one of the patriarch's wives, actually, Rebekah. So you know the history from the Bible that Abraham was promised a son, his son Isaac. And when Isaac was of marrying age, Abraham sent a dear servant back to find a wife for his son. Now, interestingly enough, Isaac is about 40 years old at this point in time when his father decides it's time for him to get married. And the servant prays to God and he asks for a special sign so that he will know that he's picking the right wife for his master, Isaac. And he asked for something really kind of unusual. He's been loaded down with all of this treasure. He has 10 camels that he's carrying, that are carrying all of this treasure with him. And his request was that whoever he approaches and asks for a drink will offer him not only to give him water, but to give all of his camels water. Now, that doesn't sound very impressive nowadays. You know, pull up to the gas tank and you take 5 minutes to fill your car up with gas. Not so with camels. I did a little research. A thirsty camel can drink 30 gallons of water in 15 minutes. So what he was asking God to do here was kind of a big thing. And so he approaches a young lady and he asks for a drink. And she has a jar of water on her shoulder. She immediately takes it down and she gives him a drink of water. And then she sees his camels, and without him asking, she offers to water all of the camels. And it says that she did this quickly. She ran to the well. She puts the bucket down. She brings it up. She fills up her jar. She takes it over to a trough and she empties water. And she goes back and forth doing this. Now, I've heard some people say, oh, well, she probably had servants who were doing it for her. But the Bible actually says she ran and did it. And she gives enough water that all of the camels have plenty to drink. Now, did she do that because she knew that she was going to be a wealthy wife, marry someone who had a lot of money if she fed these camels? He probably looked like any other merchant who was going through carrying a lot of stuff on camels. I asked the children this a couple weeks ago, and they said, the necklaces and the jewelry must have been visible. I don't think it was. That would be, asking for robbers to come and get stuff. I believe that as a little girl, this value of hospitality had been ingrained in Rebekah. She had learned to go and get water for her father, for her brothers, for her sisters. She had learned to do this at an early age. There's lots of reasons to offer hospitality. Probably during that time, it was a family honor thing. But during our time, when we know that the people around us are filled with God's image and we're working to bring them closer to God, we need to have even a greater reason to show hospitality to people around us. So let me ask you this. It started off it's a muscle that starts off with small exercises. What can you do to show hospitality to those around you? Can you give them a smile? Sometimes giving someone a smile has the greatest impact. There are stories of people even who are so devastated with their life that they're contemplating ending it, and someone smiles at them and they change their mind. I mean, that seems maybe drastic, but it's happened in the past. What can you offer a smile? Can you open a door for someone? Can you comfort someone who's having a difficult day? Those are small acts of hospitality. Can you invite someone out to dinner? That's what Rebekah does after she gives water to his camels. She invites him home to meet her family. And after that, he actually offers, he tells her, I have a master. And they find out that there's a relation there, that her family knows his family. Her family was his family. Then he offers, will you go back and marry my master's son? And so the very camels that she watered carry her home to her future husband. And she marries him and has a long life with him. It's amazing to think she had no clue when she offered to feed or to give water to these thirsty animals that they would be what she got. She had no idea that she would get bracelets and jewelry, this amazing dowry that was being carried by the camels. That all came later. So I think that there are things that God will bless us with as we are hospitable to those around him. There's a man named Rabbi Lapin who's an Orthodox Jew, and he talks about his daughters going off to college. And they were in a different year of college. They weren't in the same classes. And he and his wife were concerned that they would grow apart and not spend a lot of time together. And so they came up with a plan. They wrote a letter each week to the daughters, but they wrote one word on one daughter's letter and the next word on the other daughter's letter, and they went back and forth. So the only way that these daughters could read the letter from home and find out the news was to come together and each read one word at a time. They giggled, they laughed, they had so much fun, but it forced them to get together at least once a week and spend time together. That's why God has his image separated on all of us. We all bear different parts of his nature. And if we decide we're going to hermit ourselves just to ourselves on a regular basis, we don't get to see that image. We don't get to share it. There are parts of God I will never know if I don't reach out to you and become into a relationship with you. Now, during this time, it's really difficult. We're doing things like quarantining. We have to be away from each other for some time. But there are still ways to reach out. Video calling is an amazing gift right now in technology. So I would encourage you, reach out to other people, show hospitality. Don't allow the fear and the doubt and the panic that is around us to lock you off from each other. And follow Rebekah's example. There are many examples in the Bible of people showing hospitality, but she's one of the ones that always kind of stands out to me. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you. Bye.